Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm starting things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to talk during the stream, go ahead and lurk. That's also okay. It is a Thursday. And we're going to work on a model kit. We're working on the Crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth type from Gundam Build Fighters Try manga spin-off. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. So I'm excited for that. Even though, you know, it's only been 2 days since the last stream. It feels longer. Feels like a lifetime. These days feel heavy. So I doomed and gloomed a little bit on Blue Sky yesterday, and you can look that up because I didn't delete it. If you want to look that up, you can look that up. You don't have to. I'm not going to doom and gloom too much here, but I am going to say this. If you enjoy this hobby, the same hobby I do, model kit building, Lego building, all of that, I would suggest that you stock up on stuff that you want to build. If there's something that caught your eye on Amazon, you should get it. If you have a local that you go into in person, see what they've got, especially if they have anything on sale. Pick up the stuff that interests you. If there are things that you are excited about that are on an online store that you like, and they have shipping within the United States, if they are based within the United States, I would recommend that you purchase those things that you're looking for now. Because while there may be some people that will just start inflating prices because they can, most businesses that you are interested in pursuing and working and buying from right now would love to sell you a product. They would love to sell you their inventory now while they can. Hey, Lord Crashton. So I would say if you like this hobby, you should buy stuff in this hobby. Buy some model kits, buy some Lego sets. Hey, I'm not telling you got to do this thing, but if you've been thinking about buying something off of my Amazon wish list, perhaps there's a model kit you'd love to see me put together or a Lego set. I will tell you that someone, I don't know who, but somebody yesterday bought something off my wish list because I was reordering some stuff or moving some stuff around, not ordering, moving some stuff around to make it in money order. And I happened to notice that a certain object that was on my wish list is now not on my wish list because someone purchased it. Somebody bought me that goddamn, I put it up there, jigsaw puzzle. So we're doing 2 puzzles in 1 year because somebody bought it for me to build. If you've seen something on that wish list that you think would be cool if I put it together, now might be a great time to purchase that. Nobody knows anything. That's it. That's the end of that. Unfortunately, that's the end of that statement. Tonight's agenda, we are going to work on the Crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth type from Gundam Build Fighters Try spin-off manga, whose name I can't remember. We're going to work on that, and then we're also in the second hour going to talk about a bunch of other things, 2 anime. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about either of these shows weekly. Catch Me at the Ballpark and the Unaware Atelier Master. But we'll talk about them tonight at least, because also, when I start working on the jigsaw puzzle, I won't be able to work on anything else. I can't really do my anime roundups when I do that. I can kind of do some manga roundups, but like, it's hard to me looking at my notes while I'm doing that. So I probably won't. I'm sorry, my arm is just. That is very unprofessional, but that itch was not just go away. Anyway, we're going to go to the overhead camera. Quick reminder, we're currently at 39 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. It's a new month. If you want to become the first person to get the sub this month, you could do that, or become a subscriber yourself. You could also do that. Working on our Crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth. We've done a Crossbone before, but this is a variation of the Crossbone for Build Fighters, so we're working on that. And we should probably talk about Nintendo. Huh? We should probably talk about Nintendo, the Switch too. Now, I'm going to talk about things about the Switch 2. I understand that it is an expensive object. That it is an expensive leisure thing. If you do not want to buy the Switch 2, cool. I'm not buying the Switch 2. Maybe you don't want to either. You don't want to pay $450 for a new gaming console in 2025. I get that. The idea that Mario Kart, which would probably be a no-brainer for most people, being $80, yeah, that doesn't sit with you. I get that. Video games are going to get more expensive. And video games probably should have gotten more expensive years and years ago and didn't. And I'm not saying that if the cost had gone up, the issues within the gaming industry wouldn't have happened, because that's not true. But I am saying that along with prices for consoles and games going up, also wages should have gone up. And that's the larger issue here, is that games just got more and more expensive to make, but we didn't make more money. So games for a very long time just didn't get more expensive, but they should have. They should have gotten more expensive, and they didn't. But we also should have been making more money. And that's what it is there. But if wages go up, everything else will get more expensive, so it's all crashing. See, that's the thing. Yes, but wages would go up. So the things that are more expensive, it'd be okay, because the wages would go up. And you're saying, oh, well, then the wages would, the amount of, the cost of things would outpace wages, which is what we have now. So that's the thing, is that wages should have been going up steadily, consistently, to the point that, like, the audacious increases in federal minimum wages are way below standard. They're nightmarishly. The things that we're never going to get is so low. I mean, games are more expensive to make, but they're not spending Call of Duty money on a Mario Kart, and that game will sell like 50 million copies. Well, Last Brick 1, yes, it does. Mario Kart costs more than you think. A brand new Mario Kart game costs a lot of money. Does it cost Call of Duty money? No. But it costs a lot of money because Nintendo's wages are higher than most game companies. So it does cost a lot of money to make it. A new Mario Kart costs a lot of money because they want to sell that game forever. They're not looking to make some money once and then maybe a little bit on a sale when the next one comes out. They want to sell this Mario Kart for the Switch 2 and then also put out a version on the sequel to the Switch 2. They want to sell it for decades. So it does cost a lot of money to make a Mario Kart. All games should cost more, but we should be making more money to offset that cost, because game prices, game costs went up, but game development has to do more with less. And that doesn't make any sense. Radical, I know, incredibly radical ideas from me that we should be getting more money for the more work that we do. Anyway, I'm not going to focus on price here. I understand. If the Switch 2 is too expensive and you don't want to get one, don't buy one. Begging Nintendo to lower the cost of the console is not going to work. The only way for the Switch 2 to cost less is for people to not buy the Switch 2. It literally is that simple. There are a lot of things that are incredibly complicated in this world. That one is not complicated. If you do not think that a new copy of Mario Kart is worth $80, if you do not think a sequel to the Switch is worth $450, then I would say that you should not buy them. And then, if enough people don't buy it, then there will be some change in how much it fucking costs. I think prices will somewhat go down. But things are going to get more expensive. They're not going to get less expensive. And game consoles are going to cost more. Games are going to cost more. It's just going to be a nightmare. that price seems so likely with the way the Steam Deck and its competitors are priced, since Switch 2 is not that different. So here's the thing, Lord Crashington, the Switch 2 is different because people don't want to buy PCs and they don't want to buy the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck has sold. The Steam Deck has sold very well. But I think that people discount how many people who buy games, people that pay attention to game stuff. I think they consistently discount how much people don't want to do that stuff. Like Elden Ring, the Elden Ring version for Switch 2 is going to sell so many fucking copies to people that would never even consider buying a Steam Deck, because Steam is a thing they don't own and they don't know what it is. They know it's on the computer, but they don't have a computer that can play games. That computer plays games, but they don't think of that. Because to them, a game console is still a Nintendo. And there are a lot of those people. And they've heard about this Elden Ring game and how it's cool as shit. But like, they're not buying it. They didn't get it. They didn't get Elden Ring. So yes, while you can easily compare the Switch to a Steam Deck and the Rogue Ally and various competitors. I think performance-wise, it is a fine thing to compare those two. But the thing that I always thought, and I don't think this changes at all, is the fact that for a lot of consumers people that don't consider themselves gamers are still interested in the Switch 2. There are people who have never heard of the Steam Deck, don't know it exists, never heard of it, couldn't imagine themselves with that are like, oh, $450. I'm about to spend the most money I've ever spent on a gaming console. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are people who are out there like, yeah, I got a Switch, you know what? I didn't get the PS5 Pro, but I probably get it at some point. But I think I'm going to hold off a little bit on the Pro because, like, I don't even use my PS5 that often, and like, oh, my Xbox collects. Thank God, my Xbox, the Game Pass machine, and all that. Like, yeah, there are people there that are going to buy a Switch too. But the people that, and again, this is just obviously anecdotal, obviously. The person that emailed me yesterday that I have not talked to in quite some time, he emailed me saying, okay, here's the list of games that are coming out day one. Which ones do I need to get? Here are the games that are old games that are available day one on Switch. Which of these games should I definitely get? Because I'm going to get Mario Kart and I'm going to get Switch 2 World Tour. What else should I get? I did say, you probably don't need to get Switch 2 World Tour. Nintendo Switch 2 World Tour. You probably can skip that one. But I said, you would love Hitman World of Assassination. You can get Fortnite on it. You probably should get Fortnite on it for your kid. You should get Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. And then I sent a trailer of Puyo Puyo Tetris, and my friend was just like, oh, this looks awesome. So yeah, that's what I said. And I do remember my friend's son is probably not old enough for them to get Split Fiction, to play Split Fiction together. But maybe. And then there's upgrades. My friend has a Switch. And so he's very excited about the upgrades to the Zelda games, because in his words, well, Tears of the Kingdom ran hot. It felt hot to play it. And I was like, yeah, buddy. I'm sure it did. But he's excited about the upgrade. And I was like, I think there's a lot of people like that. Like, he's just like, I haven't played a Donkey Kong game in a long time. And I was like, hell yeah, okay, sure. This is like, yeah, for him, he's just like amped. He's amped about this. When we had our, he used to be in the multiplayer crew, but he has not been in the multiplayer crew for a long time because he has a laptop that he got from work, and he could put some of the games that we play on there. Like, if he wanted to, he could be playing Marvel Rivals with us, and it would be not a big deal. His laptop could run Marvel Rivals, no problem. It is a work laptop, but his company is such that he can put whatever he wants on there within reason. But he could put games on there if he wanted to. It would not be a problem. His boss still plays World of Warcraft on his boss's plays World of Warcraft on the same laptop. So, like, yeah, he could do that if he wanted to. But so we talked about that, and we talked about that, and maybe he wanted to play Marvel Rivals, but he was just like, I'm on my computer all day. I don't want to be on my computer at night. I come home, the kid and I play some Switch games. I play games on my phone sometimes. He's got an iPad he has Netflix, so he plays some iPad games through Netflix on occasion. He got really into The Breach, and he's excited to play more games with the family. And he's like, do y'all play Fortnite? And we don't. My multiplayer crew, the multiplayer crew that I belong to, that I am still active with, we do not play Fortnite. And he was a little bummed because he and the kid play Fortnite and Rocket League and a bunch of other things. We were trying to get him into Marvel Rivals because it's a game he could run, like I said. But this is not going to happen. It's nice to hopefully have a Donkey Kong 3D platformer that doesn't drain your soul as you play it. Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? But people seem pretty psyched about this one. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. I am not doom and gloom about the Switch 2. I understand reasons why some people would be. But I'm not. All right, I'm looking through Kotaku stuff. They got a bunch of things here. We're going to start the slideshow. It's, of course, a slideshow. Mario Kart World looks fun. Somebody was talking today about how they're hands-on with it. They got abducted by an alien, and then they asked other people about it, and nobody else had experienced that. And I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is just like people being silly, but I was just like, hell yeah, that sounds great. That sounds fucking awesome. If people are getting, if Nintendo's getting weird with it, that sounds awesome to me. All right, so I got to put this on like this or like this. Okay, so this goes on here. And then this piece needs to go on somewhere around here. There it goes, like that. Cool, working on our arm. I'm sweating a lot, and I apologize for that. It's just very warm in here. We haven't put the air conditioning on. It's only warm in my room because I'm under all these goddamn lights. So I will be sweating, and I apologize for that if it becomes really obvious. So I apologize if that becomes a nightmare. Yeah, Mario Kart World. Dynamic weather, time of day stuff, environment things. Seems cool. Seems like the thing you do while most of your squad has, for a long time, when a portion of your squad for a long time has just been putting out variations of old Mario Kart game stuff onto the Mario Kart game that was just a remake of the Mario Kart game for the system nobody really bought. And you've just had all the time and money in the world to make a new Mario Kart. This seems like the ambitious jump that you would do from Deluxe. That's what it seems like to me, anyway. Game chat. Hey, I'm going to say this thing about game chat. Apparently, according to documentation, you don't need to use you can just use whatever camera. You don't need to spend $50 on a camera. If you want to use a USB camera, you can. For some people, this seems pretty neat. For people that are like, not gonna download it, that don't know what Discord is, that you want to chat with, if you've got like, you know, cousins or nephews or, you know, whatever, grandkids somewhere, that seems pretty neat. The C menu, apparently, yeah, Switch 2 has built-in microphone and noise canceling. Like, yeah, game chat, it seems all right. Apparently, part of the thing is that you can see in a really tiny window what friends of you that you're game chatting with are doing in the world, and that looked very low def and not particularly great. But the idea, I think, is pretty solid, and we'll see how the execution is of that. But I thought the idea of the C menu is very Nintendo to do that in 2025, but also like pretty cool for Nintendo. And yeah, you gotta have Switch Online for it. But apparently there's going to be a free trial version. And it's taking advantage of NVIDIA's background remover, which I am using. I just actually got the updated SDK of it. And with the OBS update, the SDK came in. And I think it's working pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how this background remover right now is working. Pretty psyched about that. All right, let's see. Move on. Game share. Cooperative play on Switch 2. New feature. Share the game locally with other Switch 2 systems and either the original Switch. So yeah, that stuff is pretty self-explanatory. We had heard stuff about that coming out before the event. It all seems to make sense to me, and all seems to be pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Again, very, very fucking Nintendo about it, but still a good idea. So I'm not like mad at Nintendo about it. I know some people were unhappy with the implementation, but it seems pretty okay to me. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So information about the Switch 2, 7.9-inch screen. Some of the details, there may be updating stuff here. It's not thicker than the previous one. Screen is 1080p, 120 hertz refresh rate. HDR support. We'll be using a lot of NVIDIA nonsense. Joy-Cons are magnetized. New buttons. Apparently, a lot of the Pro stuff for the Switch will work on Switch 2, but they probably won't be able to wake it up from sleep mode, which is also some of the third-party stuff could interact fully with the Switch. But like, if you have a bunch of Pro controllers for when people come over, you can still use those for most stuff, just not probably want to use it for your primary, which seems fine to me. The Joy-Cons can be used as a mouse, and they will work on your pants, is what people are saying. Apparently, they work pretty well as a mouse, because like, I know a lot of people are just like, well, what surface am I using for all of this? And apparently, a viable surface for the using a new Joy-Con as a mouse is you. Your body is apparently a workable surface for that. Will this get any use outside of some Nintendo stuff? Probably not. I don't think third-party people are going to go bonkers with trying to get that stuff to work. Maybe they will. I don't know. I need B9. B9 is missing. Did I already pull out B9 somewhere? Well, that's weird. B9 isn't here. That's very strange. Must have fallen out somewhere. Anyway, I'll use a different hand. Yeah. Use this one instead. It's nice to hopefully have. Oh, no, sorry. I'm done that with regular computer mice. Those Joy-Cons look like such bad mice for how small they are. Yeah, I mean, like, as always, like, you know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm not saying you got to use it. You definitely need to. If you're not using it as a mouse, you're fucking up. Like, I'm not saying any of that stuff. This is just stuff that, like, seems pretty neat. And again, I do not expect a lot of companies to be messing with this stuff. This feels very like Nintendo's going to figure out how Nintendo makes sense of it, and then other people are going to do their fucking best with it. That's or ignore it completely. That's just my particular feeling on it. Let's see. If you were wearing headphones, you can get 3D audio. Which simulates surround sound. That only works in the headphones. That does not work on the TV. That is a fun, neat feature. They have said that the kickstand, they think the kickstand is better. 2 USB-C ports, so you can charge the device while using anything that you plug into it, which is nice. 256 gigabyte internal storage. We'll talk more about the storage stuff. Probably it's a little bit beyond my understanding. I would recommend listening to Will Smith and Vinny Caravella figure their way through it, and Brad Shoemaker figure their way through it, because Will is on the Nextlander podcast this week, which I have not listened to all of yet, but I've listened to some of, and I imagine they will have some more to say, and probably some thoughts that I haven't really had about these particular technology elements. New dock enables 4K resolution while playing in dock mode, and the new dock has a fan in it, which I feel like probably the Switch probably should have had a fan. It was probably a mistake that it didn't. The fact that Switch 2 Welcome Tour costs money is wild. I said we weren't going to talk about money too much. That's the one that I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? That probably shouldn't cost money. That feels like the advertisement of all your features probably shouldn't cost money. And it's probably fucking wild that it does. I don't know about that one, y'all. I don't know about that one, y'all. It's like 1-2 Switch should have been. You mean the Switch dock? The Switch itself is fan. Yes, Lord Flashback, because I was talking about the dock and how you can get 4K and the dock has a fan in it. And how the original Switch dock should have had a fan in it, is what I was saying there. Yes, Lord Crashing did. I think it should be a pack-in. I think that is a strange choice. I think they are making a strange decision. Who knows? Maybe it's a full-featured game, and it's fucking, like, so cool and so neat, but it seems weird that is a thing that costs money like that. Okay, so the Switch 2 has the same size cartridges as the original, but they will be fully red. And the Switch 2 also supports upgraded Switch-exclusive SD cards. And again, there'll be more people talking about that and which ones to use and how the transfer rates are better on these new ones and how this is a big deal. These are things that I kind of understand, but I don't pretend to fully grok and understand. But apparently, the new Switch like SD card storage stuff is good. But again, I'm not. And again, that's terribly put by myself. But I am no expert when it comes to that stuff. The Switch 2 Pro controller looks like the Switch Pro controller, but it's got a big 2 on it. And it has the new C button on it as well. And it has some rear buttons that are bigger than the previous one, and they are assignable, and that sounds cool. That kind of doesn't feel very Nintendo to let you assign stuff like that, so I like that. It just feels a little less. Yes, Lord Crashington. Yes, things are expensive, and everything will be more and more expensive. for game things. Yes. 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 An $80 controller is the new normal going forward. That will also be the cost of other controllers for other consoles going forward. Because we paid probably too little for those things. And also, of course, we don't get paid enough for the work that we do to match it. June 5th is the release date of this. Okay, sticker 4 and sticker 5 here. Sticker 4 should go on this side that we see. Sticker 5 goes on the back. June 5th, $450. If you buy the bundle with Mario Kart, that is $500. So you save $30 by buying the bundle. I would not recommend bundles. I would say if you are buying a bundle, don't buy like the Best Buy bundle, the GameStop bundle, the bundles that they say the only way to get one is, all of that shit. That shit has always sucked. That shit will continue to suck. But, you know, the MSRP $500 bundle doesn't seem too bad. I'll probably go with the bundle, just not to pay $80 for Mario Kart. Yeah, pay $50 for Mario Kart. Nintendo has not every Switch game will be backwards compatible. A lot will, and people were acting like no game is, and that's silly. There will be some that will have an upgrade. There'll be some that won't have an upgrade. There'll be some games that, because of AR sensors or old tech from like the Wii U or something, won't work on the Switch 2. And in some cases, you might have to pay for the upgrade, but you don't have to buy the game again. And your old version will still work on the original Switch. So it's not like, if it's a digital copy, you're not like it's not a one-way upgrade where you now can't use that game on the Switch anymore, which I know some people were worried about, and that seems to not be the case. G2. This is the piece that I have to put a sticker on that is a weird sticker. But that's okay. It's very funny that Switch 2 cannot handle Samurai Showdown. So some of these things are because the company that published it or made it doesn't want to do any work. Like, a lot of that is, like they said, some of these things will start, but they're not fully featured. And a lot of that is just that, like, some companies just don't see the value in it, or they're waiting to be told they have to do it by consumers enough. Like, that, unfortunately, is a lot of the cases for those things. Some will have free upgrades. Some upgrades will cost money, that very much like the PlayStation did, where originally they gave away some updates, and then eventually they were like, well, after a certain point, you got to pay for the upgrade. So they're doing that, where some things will be free and some things will cost money on that. But again, getting the upgrade for like Zelda doesn't prevent you from playing Zelda on, your copy on Switch 1, even after you've gotten the upgrade, which I know some people, like I said, were a little worried might be happening, but that seems to be not the case. Kirby. There was something I missed here. Yeah. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 2 editions. There's a new app that lets you access GPS-style directions across Hyrule. And also, hey, your Tears of the Kingdom, you can share creations with people. So if you have a friend that went balls to the wall in that game, on your friends list, you can get their cool creations, and that's pretty fucking cool. Again, it's Nintendo, so like it does feel like a no-brainer, don't get me wrong, but also is pretty cool for Nintendo to be like, oh yeah, if you want this cool thing, you can your friend did some cool work, you can get that cool stuff. Like, yeah, we'll allow that. And I was like, oh, all right, okay. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands Switch 2 edition. There's going to be some new stuff, an exclusive adventure, so they put some new stuff in there to get you to pay up. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will be on both Switches. You can use the mouse control on the Switch 2 version. And that will be like a performance versus quality mode that you've seen on modern consoles. That game will have that as well, which is, again, for Nintendo, kind of interesting. Kind of cool. Let's see. I need B2. Great. B2 here. I got B5 there. And we're just working on our arms here. Nothing crazy with this. Pokemon Legends ZA will have a Switch 2 edition because of course it will. Later I saw some talk about like totally trading games between the two versions will work. All that stuff will work. It'll be all integrated because I know that there were some people that were a little worried that stuff might not work out exactly as they were. There was a chance that stuff might not all work, but apparently it is all going to work between the different versions, so that's good. Let's see. Drag Drive is a wheelchair-based basketball game that is using the mouse mode as well as the gyro support. That comes out this summer. That looked pretty neat. That definitely feels like a proof of concept thing. But I thought that looked pretty cool, so that's nice. Tarnished Edition, which is Elden Ring, comes out sometime this year. And as I said, I feel like that's gonna sell real well to people who are just like, oh, I've heard so much good things about that game, and now I can play it on a system that I own. I think that's gonna do pretty damn well for them. Hades 2 coming to Switch 2. Let's see what else we got. Capcom Years 1 and 2 Fights Edition. We got some stuff. Capcom stuff coming in. That I don't care about that game. Split Fiction's coming, which makes a lot of sense. That to me felt like a no-brainer. But sometimes dev costs and all that. Sometimes you can't put stuff out. So, but that does seem like that makes a lot of sense. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, not Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is coming to Switch 2. That feels like a no-brainer as well. Hitman World of Assassination, that's wild. That's a launch title. The fact that there is like a Mario and a Luigi. You may remember that on one of the Hitman maps, you can murder a plumber with a red hat and a plumber with a green hat. And now it's going to be on the Switch too. And that's like you can kill a plumber named Mario and a plumber named Luigi in that. And now it's just going to be in there by default. And that is just wild. That is a wild thing that is also going to be on that system. The pre-order bonuses, yeah. You just get a green duck. And yeah, and just like, it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, somebody at I.O. pitched the thing that, like, did they get told, hey, pitch your weird idea? And then they did, and then whoever they were talking to at Nintendo was just like, yeah, all right. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that conversation goes, but like, what? Or did they pitch it and then their contact Nintendo would be like, we'd love it to be weirder. Do you have anything weirder? I don't know. I don't know how that conversation happens. I don't know how you end up like this, but I do think it's very silly and wild and great. I put this on wrong. This should go on later. All right? Yeah. This has got to go on before this. I put this piece on too early. So I got to try to get that going. Advance to the next slide here. Project 007, which is IO Interactive's James Bond game. That's also coming to Switch 2. That also makes a lot of sense. And I'll admit I'd kind of forgotten that game existed. So I'm glad to see it show up in that. Bravely Default is getting a remastered version. It's coming out as a launch title. They're going to do some IO updates, or UI updates, I should say. But that seems like, yeah, like smart and cool and a good remake to put out in the in the first year of the console. Get some good ports. At least this Hitman game can run on Switch 2 instead of being a streaming title. Yes, it is not a streaming title. It will be a native game. That streaming stuff for some people worked really well, and for other people was a proof of concept, but not really a good product. So yeah, it'll run on the system. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. I love Yakuza 0. I love the idea of more people getting to play it. I don't know quite what's on the Director's Cut, but I think that game is phenomenal. And I am psyched for the idea of people being able to play it as an introduction to Yakuza and the Like a Dragon stuff. I would not be surprised if that says Like a Dragon Yakuza 0 or Like a Dragon Presents or something like that. I would not be surprised if they continue to try to remind people the franchise has a different name. That to me feels like something that probably will happen on there. But it's cool. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is a collaboration with Koei Tecmo, and you can play as Zelda. And looks like it's somewhere around the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo is putting so much effort into the world around this one that it is honestly refreshing. Between these games and of course your time in Hyrule, as a necro dancer, it's just kind of wild and cool. I think it's neat. All right, gonna put this on here. Nintendo Switch Online will have GameCube games. Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX will be available. There is also going to be a new GameCube controller for the Switch 2, which will have both wired and wireless. And that seems cool. I love new GameCube controllers getting made. And yeah, more stuff for you to play, especially classics, and like running GameCube games on a Switch 2 seems like a way to play those. I don't know if it's going to be the best way to play those, but that does seem neat, and will hit some people who have GameCube nostalgia, certainly. I love that damn GameCube. Wind Waker finally on Switch 2 after years of leaks claiming it was imminent on Switch. Indeed. Y'all, I bought a GameCube at launch. And there was not a lot for the GameCube because I know some people were like, the amount of games coming out, this is the worst Nintendo launch ever, right? And it was like, no, there were like 2 games for the GameCube when it came out. Like, Now, Super Monkey Ball fucking rules, but Super Monkey Ball was a hit because it was available at launch. Like, that's the only reason people bought it. They didn't know anything about Monkey Ball, but they got it because they wanted to have something for their new console. Like, and luckily it was phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, the GameCube launch was a nightmare. So this having some games at launch, there's still more to play on there than we had with the old goddamn GameCube. Jesus Christ, that was a nightmare. But that GameCube was available, and you could get one. You could get a memory card for it really easily at launch. You could get the games, that you want. You can get your Luigi's Mansion. You'd find stuff for it, but it was rough. It was really rough at the start. Delta Rune, chapters 3 and 4 are coming out. When they come out, then all 4 chapters will be out at once for the Switch as a launch title. Borderlands 4, which just feels so weird to say that Borderlands 4 is going to be on the Switch too, but I guess it is. Civ 7, and again, using the mouse function seems like a terrible idea. I'm not bullish like some people are on the mouse idea, but even I do not think that is going to be the way to play that game. I would not say that if you should get that over playing it on your PC. I'm not going to say that. Don't get it twisted. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out, the Ultimate Edition. I can't wait to see how that runs, even as the Ultimate Edition. It is just, I find that to be humorous that is going to happen. Good luck to them. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade. And then a bunch of third-party games. A whole lot of stuff. The WWE game is coming to Switch too. I don't know if how that's going to work. God, I would actually love to see what kind of creations people make on their Switch too. That would kind of be interesting. And then Front Software is doing the Dusk Bloods, which really feels like Bloodborne 2. Really feels like Bloodborne 2. And that's going to come out in 2026. But y'all, that really seemed like it was Bloodborne 2, and it's going to be an exclusive. And so there were some people who were just like, oh, I will never get one of these. And at least one of them, I was like, so you're not going to get a console that plays Dusk Bloods? And they were like, well, I mean, I'll probably get one eventually. I'm glad it's multiplayer so I can skip it. Yeah, I hear you. Some figures have already come out, and 2070 is like 540p handheld. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I can't imagine that fucking Cyberpunk was going to run well, even like if they got a bunch of people to help work on it. Like that just doesn't feel possible. Kirby Air Riders is here. It is a follow-up to Kirby Air Ride. Now, the GameCube game was Kirby Air Ride, and this is Air Riders. And they're making a sequel to an old Kirby game that was pretty fucking fun on the GameCube. Also, a Kirby game early in the life cycle of a system is kind of a rarity. Oftentimes, they would come out late in the lifespan because they were learning as they went, and eventually it was like, all right, it's time to put on a Kirby game. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks like it's Donkey Kong Bonanza, but it's Bonanza. That looks really fun. This Donkey Kong looks insane, and I don't hate it. I do not hate how crazy this Donkey Kong looks. This Donkey Kong looks troubled. but also does not seem to have a care in the world. And apparently, destruction remains, and you can even see destruction that you have caused on the map. And this Donkey Kong just wants to beat shit up. That comes out July 17th. Yes. Yeah, this Donkey Kong might be Diddy Kong grown up. And I know that's not true, and that's not. I know that. But whatever. This feels like a different Donkey Kong. And this Donkey Kong feels insane. And I like that. There's a bundle. Yeah. Hey, it's real to me, damn it. Yeah, no, Lashbrook, what I was saying is I know that Diddy Kong didn't grow up to be the next Donkey Kong, that Donkey Kong Jr. is in Donkey Kong Country, and Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong. And I'm not saying that Diddy Kong grew up to become this new Donkey Kong, but I am saying this might be a different Donkey Kong, and this Donkey Kong fucks. I knew I was going to say that. I don't think it wasn't a good idea, but I knew I was going to say it. No, this Donkey Kong doesn't give a shit, is what I really meant. But also this Donkey Kong might fuck. I don't know. Kitty Kong, yeah. But yes, this might just be a different Donkey Kong. In the wide world of Donkey Kongs, this might be a different Kong. A whole other Kong. Hey, we haven't talked about layoffs in the game industry in a while, and unfortunately, we're going to do that here. And I'm sorry that we're going to do that, but we are going to do that. Australian game studio Playside is making layoffs, and according to game developer, after delivering record revenue. Company has announced a restructuring plan in response to waning contract work that comes months after it reported record annual revenue of 64.6 million AUD. So it is not doing well and doing poorly does not mean anything. It's because they're not doing as much contract work, so they just want to have a smaller overhead. They are the maker of Dumb Ways to Die, and it fucking sucks. Of course, they have investors, and they have had delays in new work, so they just laid people off. They're working on original console and PC titles such as Mouse PI for Hire, because Animals as Detectives apparently has not run dry. People are still making animal detective games. I don't think they're wrong for doing it, but I do think maybe too many people do it. Lord Crashington wants me to hit the dance button. This is a wild fucking time to ask me to hit the dance button, Lord Crashington. I will. I am in the middle. I am 1/3 through the way of talking about game company layoffs, but I will stop that for a second. It is a new month. There is a new dance song. If you use your channel points, I will play dance music and move around a bit. Here is this new song. Yeah. I remembered what month it was and had to hit the button. I understand, Lord Crashington. New month, new song. This is the kind of song that plays. I've said this before, but it's still true. This song is the kind of that plays over a montage of someone like finishing a job of like converting a van into a tiny house or something. It's got big YouTube montage music vibes, or I'm gonna finish buttoning up this new console that I just modded or whatever. But it's got a lot of that kind of energy, and I don't think that's wrong. I just think that's what it is. We're gonna work on a leg here. We're starting the right leg. It's leg day now suddenly. So let's get a leg together here. There's a lot of words here, and I don't know what they're saying, so I'm going to use my handy dandy translator here. We're going to use Google Translate to see what this says, and I'm going to hit camera button, and then I'm going to mouse over here. Please be careful not to cut it off. Okay, there is a little peg here on the side, and they don't want me to cut that off, and that makes sense. I also don't want to cut that off. Did I cut that off? No, I didn't cut that off. Okay. There's a little thing there. Make sure to insert it all the way in. Then careful not to cut off. Okay, so I just have to be careful about removing these parts. Embracer laid off some people at Crystal Dynamics. 17 workers have been laid off, which is not a lot, but it's still some because, you know, everything is shrinking, including like the amount of developers at big studios. Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics laid off 17 employees. And they were like, it sucks. And they had a big statement about how this isn't going to hurt them and they're going to work hard, and that the being laid off is not a reflection of their work or whatever. But they are co-developing the Perfect Dark reboot with the initiative. And they have other things to work on, but yeah, lots of job cuts. They had a round of job cuts in 2023, so they didn't have any last year. So that's something to celebrate, unfortunately, that they didn't have any last year. And then one more, Cyan Worlds, that laid off half of its workforce. This is the developer that is very small. When I say they laid off half their workforce, that's 12 people. This was a 24-person studio that is now down to 12. These are the people that brought you Myst and Riven and maintained those games while doing other work. And they seem like they are going to shut down. Like, I am not speaking out of turn. The statements they made do not seem to reflect a company that laying off half their staff is suddenly going to turn things around. It never fucking does. Industry conditions have forced us into a tricky spot where we're having to weigh the future of our studio against month-to-month realities of game development in 2025. They've been transparent, and while news of a layoff was not a surprise to the team, it is deeply saddening for all of us. They did offer severance packages to people, which not everybody fucking does, which is frustrating as hell. And then they're also trying to fill vacancies at other. They're trying to work with other sister partners and all that other stuff to fill vacancies. And they're still working on their next projects. So who knows, they may eventually get some money and be able to hire up, but it seems rough. It seems rough out there for a lot of people. On Saturday stream, where I will where I will continue to be working on this model kit. Saturday stream, I will also be talking about my last preview for AEW Dynasty. As during Collision, there will be announcements of some other matches. Supposedly, Chris Jericho versus title versus mask. Chris Jericho versus Bandito. It sounds like there will be something that happens on Collision to set up that, because that is not being promoted right now. Jericho made the challenge and Bandito hasn't accepted yet, so apparently that's going to happen on Collision. That could mean that the match isn't going to happen. It does sound like it's going to, but there's a possibility it won't. I hope it does, because I would really like to see Chris Jericho not have a title, the Ring of Honor World title, and then also maybe finally take a break from professional wrestling. But who knows? We'll find out, I guess, during Collision. So while I'm streaming, some matches will get updated. I will also find out probably about pre-show. The 2 matches got added. These 2 matches that are in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. It's a way to get Will Ospreay on the card, Kevin Knight on the card. That's fun. And then Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart. It's a way to get Mercedes on the card without having to have her put her title on the line. My big brain thought on this is that Athena is going to beat Mercedes Moné in this tournament. Obviously, it'll be non-title for that, but she's going to beat her, which is going to lead to Mercedes making sure Athena doesn't win this tournament, leading to them wrestling each other. Perhaps at Double or Nothing, perhaps at All In. But that's my thought anyway. That was my grand, like, this is how I would do it. Because what I don't want is for Mercedes to win this tournament. I do not want to see Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm at All In. I think that would be bad because I feel like Mercedes would win and have both the TBS and the AW World Women's Championship, and I think that's a bad idea. But also, I really don't know who wins that tournament that makes sense to go up against Toni Storm, who I do think is beating Megan Bayne. I don't think they've given me enough reason to think that Megan Bayne's isn't going to lose this. I mean, like, Jamie Hayter kind of makes sense. Thunder Rosa as a Texan makes sense for All In. Thunder Rosa representing Texas. She had to give up that belt years ago. She never lost the belt. She just had to give it up due to injury. It kind of makes sense if she won it, but also Toni versus Thunder Rosa does not excite me. Unless Thunder Rosa turns heel, which I don't think she's going to, but if she did turn heel, I think that would kind of be cool. Because you can whine about unfair treatment only for so long before the audience starts booing you. Hi, just another Spicy. Welcome. All right, we'll talk more about wrestling on Saturday. Now is the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can support the channel and what I do here. I'm going to go through this quickly. I am fucking sweating up a storm. I am going to try to wipe some of this sweat off my arms while you can't see my arms for a second. While I talk to you about ways that you can support the channel. I'll go through this fast because we're small but mighty tonight. And I have anime to talk about. So first and foremost, if you are currently a subscriber to the Bill Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego to the site, the tier 2 blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you can use that token. Please use it for me. We're currently at 39 out of 40 subscribers. If you want to be the first person to gift a sub in the month of April, you could do that now and help out the community. You could do it anonymously or take credit for it. But yeah, once we get to 40, I shut up about how many subscribers I have. So if you want to become a subscriber, you can do that. Would love to get to 40 before all the gifted subs from last month reset, because that'll happen. Couple things. I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. Please consider joining my Patreon. Tomorrow, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons are going to be able to start voting on what I do next Tuesday for the Patreon choice stream. I've got some options. I think they're all good options. So check out the Patreon tomorrow for that poll. It'll be in the afternoon. Let's see. I got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Subscribe for free. Consider becoming a member for money. If you want to support me, but you don't want to buy anything, you don't want to do it on a monthly basis, I got a tip jar through my PayPal and my Ko-Fi. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I pull money out to buy model kits. So if you want to help me out for that, you can. I'm just quickly checking my AdSense. I don't think it's updated yet, but I want to see if it has. It did update. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm about halfway to a payout from Google AdSense, which is great. So by the end of the year, I will have money from Google that I can buy model kits with. Speaking of buying model kits, I mentioned this at the top of the stream. Again, I'm not saying please go out there and buy me model kits to build on stream. I am saying, though, that kits are going to get more expensive this year. Lego sets are already went up. They're going to go up more. If you've ever thought about buying me something from Amazon to build on stream, now would be a good time to do it. Because the stuff that's already here in the United States isn't going to get hit with tariffs. So, again, if there's something there, a Lego set, a model kit, just something you'd like to see me build, now would be a great time to pick that up. See if there's something there you'd like to see me put together and it'll jump the queue and be the next thing I work on. As I said, someone did buy me, I don't know who, but somebody did buy me the jigsaw puzzle, which I will be working on soon. But yeah, if you see something there, feel free to pick it up. My throne wish list, I recently updated that. That's going to be the same thing of just like, now is better than later. USA Gundam store was just like, hey, we'll honor pre-orders that people made and they won't go up. And then everything in the store is the same price it was. And we don't know in the future. But if you want to buy me a gift card to USA Gundam store, you can go buy a gift card there. They will send you a email with a gift card code. Then you can send me a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. I'm sorry, I just have to delete something that came in there, and that's fine. But yeah, that's another way to support me. You being here supports me a lot. If you want to help me out without spending any money, you can always join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. My Discord is full of lovely people. We want to have you there. We want to have you hang out with us on Discord. So consider joining me on Discord if you want to join me on Discord. I am going to share with you 2 Pat Bear's Anime Club videos. That's right. The first one was recorded live, and it is my winter 2025 wrap up and my spring 2025 preview. The anime season that is just starting. I talked about the one that is now. I talked about the previous season. It's 2 hours. You should check it out. The Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which cover the fall 2023 season and every season in 2024, because they're slowly moving back to just doing a year that was. The Anime Awards, the vote, I made a voting guide because the awards are up. The Crunchyroll Anime Awards are up, and so I made a voting guide. Please check that out if you want to vote and you'd like to know my thoughts. And there was a reply to a comment that basically a person just gave their thoughts on every category, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Doodles the Great, for doing that on my YouTube. But yeah, Shangri-La Season 2 is up for Best Isekai. It's not an isekai, but enough people nominated it, so it counts. And Crunchyroll didn't say, oh, don't nominate that. It's not in the right category. And I don't hate that they do that. I don't love that they do that, but I don't hate that they do that. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. I'm talking about my favorite shows from the winter season. And so I talked about Sakamoto Days. And that video is already done better than last week's video, which had killed in the title. So I'm not surprised it did terribly. This one will hopefully do pretty okay. So watch that video if you haven't. I have much anime to chat with you about, so we'll talk about those. And then we will get into the nitty and the gritty. We'll hit the gritty. We'll talk about 2 anime shows. But before we do that, I need to drink some water, and I need to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera so we can continue working on this leg. And so to do that, we're going to transition right now. Oh boy, it's warm. Y'all, it's warm in this room. I apologize. It got real warm in here. My apologies. My allergies are pretty okay right now, at least. But yeah, it's not comfortable right now. Anyway, anime talk. Both these shows I'll be talking about here are Crunchyroll shows. I might be watching How Dare the Temperature Go Up. I know, right? When I say number go up, I don't mean the internal temperature of the house. It's not hot yet in the house, fully in the house yet, to justify the air conditioner being on, I don't think, which is annoying. I would like the air conditioner to be on. But it's not hot enough in the rest of the house. So when this is over, I will open up my bedroom door, and then I will let as much cool air in as I can before I go to bed. Try to cool off this room. And also turning off all these lights and swapping out a light bulb to a lower temp bulb will help me out quite a bit. Anyway, catch me at the Ballpark. I don't know if I'm going to cover this weekly. I'm definitely going to watch another episode of this. Um, but I'll kind of just give you just a rundown of this show. It is a workplace, it's a sitcom, situation comedy that takes place at a ballpark. It focuses a lot on a beer girl, an independent employee of the ballpark who sells beer, and also a dude who is just like, he comes to the ballpark to unwind after work. And they kind of strike up a friendship that is also business related, but it looks at other people in the ballpark as well. After the animation was pretty good. Ruriko is a newbie at doing the beer selling. And her first regular is Morita. So regular is a very important part of this business. Again, friendship that's also a transactional relationship. She needs him to buy things. She needs multiple people to buy things so that she can do well. And he is probably enamored with her zest for life and other shenanigans and cliches like that. And then there will be some goofiness and some good times. And I thought this episode was pretty fun. So we'll talk about a bit more in depth about it. It's actually kind of surprising we haven't seen this yet, but here we go. You're at a ball game. It's an all-day thing. You want something to eat. You want something to drink. It's more about the people that work there than it is about the actual, like, baseball, which for me, as someone that doesn't play, that doesn't really care about baseball, I think it's totally great. It reminded me a lot of my actual time going to baseball games, mostly minor league games. I spent a good amount of time at those games, having a pretty good time. But it was always more to me about the food and the atmosphere and hanging out than it was about the AA ball that I was watching. I didn't really care about the New Haven Ravens so much as I cared about hanging out and getting a try that pizza, because I've heard actually if you go out the other side of the stadium, that pizza is better than the pizza that's by where we are. So you got to go for a walk if you want to get the good pizza. It was the same. It unfortunately was not better if you walked farther. It was the same pizza. Sad state of affairs, but it was true. It's a little nostalgia. Also, it's a little cheesy, but kind of like fun. It feels like maybe this could be a good show. Like, I'm just kind of giving my overview again. I think I'm going to give the next episode a look, but I don't know for sure. Because it wasn't boring, but it was like, if I'm being generous, it was a setup episode, and they didn't have time to be as quirky and as interesting as they want to be, because they had to get out enough characters and introduce you to a bunch of people and set the world. And then maybe from this point on, it will get further episodes. They'll have more fun as they've been able to, once they can settle down and kind of like get into it. That's me being generous. Because the pacing was a little all over the place. It was like made up of like three mini parts of the episodes, like three sections, like an A story, a B story, and a C story. And so like the first two parts were kind of looking at like, oh, is this a rom-com? And maybe it is a rom-com between our beer girl and our dude. And then the other one was like looking at other people that work there. And so it was a little disjointed. But if I'm being generous, they just have a lot of masters to serve, and they're doing their best to serve all those masters and get a bunch of ideas out to entice you to watch another episode. So it might have just been too much of a setup episode for my particular liking. I'm not sure. Also, this is important to mention. I don't love relationships in anime or any fiction that involve people who have some sort of client and employer relationship. They can work. They can be fun stories, but generally there's a power dynamic, and I don't love that power dynamic if it leads to a relationship. So I hope that it actually doesn't go that way, because I'm not a big fan of that. So yeah, especially because it's a totally reasonable thing to expect this anime to be bad at understanding the customer abuse dynamics that plague Japanese employees, especially independent employees who are women. It's fucking rough out there for them, and especially in fields where you are selling yourself along with your product, in this case beer, but you're selling the idea of being a beer girl, and all of that thing leads up to like, well, he's a cool guy, so it's okay that he is smitten with her because he's nice. And it's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know if I fucking believe that. That could be fucking gross. Hopefully this won't be gross. It would be great if this wasn't gross. So that the fact that they're putting any effort into maybe making this romantic in nature is a red flag, and will reduce my enjoyment of the product. But we'll see. Let me get out A14 here. Where are you, A14? That's not A14. A34. That's what I need. The reason why it didn't look right is because it was the wrong fucking number, Pat. Way to go. But yeah, it might be kind of mild here. He does seem to understand that like what their power dynamic is, at least. So hopefully they're not going too egregious with it. But again, it's just something for me to be looking out for, I think. All right, let's get some panel lining done here. And then also we had some like look at like how hard it is to do the job, which I thought was good. And all of that. So that was kind of nice. Yeah, I'm going to watch the second episode. And I'll let you know. I don't know if I'm going to be watching this weekly. I don't know if I'm going to be covering it. This is the period where I just like start watching a bunch of things. Like I have a bunch of stuff lined up for Saturday as well. I don't know what I'm going to continue to cover. Honestly, the things I'm most excited about this season are sequels. And I don't feel like I want to be like Oshinoko season 3, whenever that comes out, we'll probably cover that because I've covered the other 2 seasons. But like, I don't think I'm going to cover the second season of that time I got reincarnated. No, sorry. I've been killing Science for 300 years and finally maxed out my level, season 2. I just probably won't cover that, even though I am looking forward to it because I really like that show and there's some new characters and all that. But I probably won't cover that on stream. I did watch the first episode of The Unaware Atelier Meister, episode 1. It's Meister, not Master. I have read this manga. This manga kind of goes. It's fun. It is a banished character who is dumb and doesn't understand he's overpowered. Kurt is not good at combat, so he gets let go, but he can do everything else besides combat. He just doesn't know any combat skills, but he's amazing, and he does not believe in himself. But he gets himself surrounded by people that do believe in him and think that he's fucking great. That's the plot of the whole fucking thing. This is one of those like, honestly, there's not a lot of isekai this season. There's like very few isekai this season. So I think some people are probably going to start watching some of these action series that aren't isekai, but really feel like them. Like if you told me this was isekai, I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes some sense. But yeah, I don't think this is particularly good. I wanted to see, was the animation okay? Yeah, it's kind of all right. It's not great, but it's kind of okay. I kind of wanted to see what the treatment was, because like I said, I have read this manga and I thought this manga was pretty fun. So I was interested to see how the anime adaptation was, and so far, pretty good. It'll be a long time before my favorite character shows up, which is just a little girl with a lot of magic abilities that is a real mystery who she is, but she decides that one of the girls in the show and our guy are her parents, and she has cool magic powers, and it's fun. But it'll be a little while before we meet her. But yeah, he can do anything that's not that, so they kick him out of the heroes party. And also, every girl, he makes a harem like within the first episode. And again, it's inadvertent harem. He is not aware of this. He is not aware that these girls have feelings for him and that he's special. He just thinks he's some guy. He actually eventually gets hired to be an assistant. He's the real guy, but he believes, like, they know he wouldn't accept the job, so they hire him as an assistant, but he just does all the work. They're like, oh yeah, that person's on a branch, so you just have to do whatever jobs you need to do. Did I mess up did I forget a sticker here? Yes, there's a sticker that goes on this, everybody. I fucked up and did put a sticker on here, so I'm gonna put a sticker on this. I'm gonna clean this up and throw on a sticker, and then we're done with a leg here once I get the sticker on. Yeah, there's some weird stuff. A lot of toxic masculinity at display in this one. But yeah, this one is just kind of weird. I do not think that I will be watching episode 2. I kind of just wanted to see what it was. I wanted to see what the adaptation was. I wasn't surprised by it. I was whelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed with it. It is, let's see, 46 or 48. It is very much what I expected that anime adaptation to be. If you were looking for a mindless show and you can get over the fact that the main character is overpowered but never believes in himself, then this might be the anime for you. I'm sorry, let me just see what number I need here. 48. Yeah, that's definitely 48. Okay. Yeah, so you might like it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be covering it consistently. So he's like Gohan. Yeah, I mean, Gohan eventually... So yeah, Teen Gohan has trouble remembering that he's special and super powerful and that other people can't do what he can do. He does have trouble with that. Which is kind of a contrivance. But this is main character, like overpowered main character who does not believe in themselves. Like, I parry everything. That guy also never believed in himself and came up with wild explanations for why things were happening the way they were. I'm going to drop down to 38 subscribers. That's fine. But that kind of thing, that there are characters like that just never quite get it. One of the Backwater Swordsman is a show that's out this season, and he understands it. He doesn't necessarily think he deserves the good things that are happening to him, but he does at least acknowledge that he is skilled. He just doesn't necessarily think that he deserves good things. Lord, let's see. Where are you? Yeah. What's the name of this one? Got an English name. From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. And by old, I mean he's in his 40s. He's my age. But this one, I think this manga was really great. But this is a guy that's out this season. The first episode is airing in like 2 days from now. I might cover it. I don't know if I'm going to, but I might cover it. At the very least, I'll probably talk about it on Saturday or Monday. Well, if it's 12 hours from now, that's during the day. And then another day. Yeah, I might talk about it on Saturday or Monday. But that show, I really like the premise of. Our main character is an older guy. He worked at a dojo. He's a master swordsman, even though he doesn't believe in himself to be as strong as people say he is. But he just like spent his life training people, and he gets invited to teach workshops at the Capitol, and he's like, I don't understand why that would happen. So his dad is just like, you're fired, to force him to go, because he wouldn't have gone, because he never believed himself enough to be an adventurer or to go out and do anything. So he goes and accepts this job because it turns out one of his many disciples over the years is now in charge of the knights, and there's another knight that is from that group. One of the best adventurers in the country is somebody he trained. There's a magic swordswoman, someone that like wanted to learn the sword while she's trained in being a magician or a wizard that is high up there. And just a bunch of people. They're all women, and they all think that their guy is pretty great. And even if a couple of them do have crushes on him, that's not the focus of that particular series. It's mostly just they believe in him so much, and they want good things for him. And they also want people to acknowledge how great he is, and for him to acknowledge how great he is and how important he is to them. And it works out pretty great. I find that one very fun. I love the like guy who's like, you went easy on me. Like, he does believe that one of the guys that he has a duel with went easy on him. Like, he is not being condescending. He legitimately believes that. And then, but when people say, no, he went all out and you beat him, he does believe them. He does listen to it. Like, he's not that kind of like dumb main character, like the unaware guy Kurt in the anime that I was just talking about. Our swordsman Beryl does have a moment where he's like, oh yeah, no, okay, I believe you, that like, all right, I guess I did pretty good. I guess I'm not the worst. He does chastise himself at one point for thinking that he fights against a wizard, and he's just like, or a mage, and he's just like, I was getting a big head, but I had trouble fighting her. And they're like, she's the best mage in the country, and you cut her magic in half. And he's just like, yep, but I was really slow about it. You know, just like, I don't hate that. I don't hate that, because he's just very humble. He does believe in his skills. He just doesn't, he thinks he has room to improve. And I think that's pretty great. Also, him going along and doing the things that his disciples want for him, he doesn't like fight them tooth and nail, which some of these series have, where it's just like, this guy just wants to be left alone. Why is everybody like, I understand that he's worth more that he gives himself credit for, but like, let this fucking guy retire or something. Anyway, there's some good anime coming out this season. We're done talking about the two that I watched. Again, I think I'm gonna watch Catch Me at the Ballpark episode 2 and see where it goes. I don't know if I'm going to be covering it weekly, but I will be checking it out. And then probably not Meister, because I just kind of wanted to see how the adaptation went, and if it looked really, really bad. But it looks like it has some money, so that's nice. But yeah, that's not going to be my easy breezy anime of the season. Now, what I want to do is talk to you, folks. We got some time left in the stream to chat with you about what you've got going on, what you're up to, what you're into, what you've got happening. Always love to hear from you about those things. Let me know if you're playing any video games, if you're watching anything, what you got going on. I always like to hear from you about that stuff. So let me know in the chat. And while I give you time to write, I will tell you, I've been playing this new Hearthstone expansion and having a lot of fun with it. We'll be checking that out, not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday I'll do a stream, because I'm giving myself more time to get a few more decks that do silly things. Because I'm having a lot of fun with the decks that I'm playing right now. I got a Wild Gods deck that's really silly in a fun way that does a lot of nonsense. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. playing a bunch of things at Hearthstone. Marvel Rivals, I talked about that, how my multiplayer crew, we've had a resurgence in interest in Marvel Rivals. Oh, I put this on wrong. Didn't I? Yeah, I must have. Because this doesn't fit in. It's supposed to fit in. And it doesn't. So that's weird. So I did something wrong here. So we are going to pop this open and see what I did wrong. Yeah, Marvel Rivals, we're playing that again because by popular demand of the multiplayer crew, there has been a increased request for more Marvel Rivals, so we're playing that. I've been playing a lot of Jeff the Shark because that I like the game loop of that. Jeff can do some silly stuff and then also heal your ass, and that's good. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, people. Okay, so this isn't snapping in, and I don't know why. That went in there. Yep, and it just goes all the way down. Sorry, everybody. I apologize that I... Okay, so this goes like that. That one like that. That's locked into place. Like that. Yeah, that's right. This is correct. This is correct, and this is correct. Huh. So this is right, and this is right. And then... I wonder if this just isn't locked in. Eventually, this has to go like this. And lock in. So that goes like that. So I guess what I could do is... I could, while I have it like this, or like that, I could just put these pieces on where they're supposed to go, like that. Okay, that's now in place. I don't know why that was giving me trouble, but it was giving me trouble, and that was weird, but now it's okay. Is there any other games, before I read what Lord Crescent had to write, is there any other game stuff going on with me? I have not played any D&D stuff in a while. I would like to. Oh, on Tuesday, I should talk about Tuesday's game. Thank you for everybody that tuned in as I played River Towns. I really enjoy that game. I was able to give away a code, the first time I've ever been able to give a game code away during a stream, so that's really fun. And I had a good time with that. It's a tile placement game that I really like. I played more of that yesterday for a bit because I'm still enjoying that game and trying to unlock more stuff and move on. But yeah, that's a fun tile placement game that I think I conveyed how it works for. I wish that there was a more variety of music. Sometimes the music kind of just fades out and suddenly you don't have it. But it's also a really good podcast game. I was listening to a podcast and playing it today, or yesterday, I should say, catching up on some podcast stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one of those. This is a good have some music on or a podcast on while you play the game. Like I had a good time with that. That was a good use of my time. So yeah, I'll probably play more of that. I don't know if I'm ever going to stream that game again. I might. That might go back into rotation after I've played more of it, show some more challenging levels as the game goes on. If there's any new mechanics that get added in, it might be fun to show those mechanics off. So I might be playing more of that. I don't know. Is there anything else that I want to say? I'm going to be playing some D&D this weekend. As part of the collective that I belong to. So I am looking forward to doing that because it's been a hot minute since I got any D&D in. So I'll be doing that this weekend. And that should be pretty dang fun. So I'll be able to talk about, I'll talk a bit about that on Saturday. If there's anything about it that comes up that I want to chat with you about. Ooh, we dropped down to 37. That's okay. Lord Crash says, I started The Root Trees Are Dead, which is a fun game in the style of Return of the Obra Dinn. It's about a rich candy company owning family that dies in a plane crash that needs you to map out the family tree to see who the beneficiary should be. Yes, I have that game wish listed. I did watch Vinny Caravella and Abby Russell play that on Nextlander. I watched a few streams of that. That was very fun to watch them play that particular game. Vinny is both very good at these games and also, what the fuck are you talking about, Vinny? What leap of logic are we doing here? But yeah, that game is cool. Good luck to you, Lord Crashington. That there seems like there's a lot to figure out in there. But yeah, I do like those social deduction types of games. I would never want to stream a game like that because, I think I would want to just put my head down and try to solve it without having people watch me do it. I think I would hate playing, like, I've never played Oberdin on stream or again, the root trees are dead. Like, yeah, the idea of playing that with people around sounds like hell, like my hell. In the same way that I've never played a Hitman game on stream because I like Hitman a lot, and I think if I was streaming that game, I would not like Hitman as much. It helps that Vinny's bad search skills can't get in trouble in that game. Yes, he seemingly can't break that game, although he did very much seem to be trying to break that game pretty consistently. He didn't end up breaking it, so small miracles. Let's panel line this before I put on the end parts here. It's going to be easier for me to panel line this now than later, so we'll just hit this with gray. Clean this up. It just denies you if you're searching the wrong thing. Yes. Yeah, that game seems neat. I don't know if anybody else has got anything they've been playing or watching or reading or anything like that. Feel free to let me know. I've got a bunch of manga stuff to talk about as I start doing this anime, figuring out what anime I'm going to be watching. Was there any shows that I caught up on? I haven't from last season. I still have my list of things from last season to watch because I'm kind of interested in the new stuff. And there's also been a lot of wrestling to watch, so I've been enjoying that. I watched about half of the show that I'm going to watch the rest of tomorrow night. A wrestler for the owner of Sendai Girls is retiring, Meiko Satomura, and so she had a match with Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki, and so I really want to watch that match, but I'm saving it to watch with people tomorrow. We'll watch it at the same time. We'll all just hit play at the same time and watch it, and it'll be very fun, and I look forward to watching that with people because Minoru Suzuki fucking rules and Meiko Satomura rules, and I am excited for them to wrestle each other and for me to be able to watch that. That aired live, but it was in Japan, so it was on early this morning, so I did not stay up to watch it, but I will see it tomorrow. Most of the show tomorrow. Lastwick says, I haven't played much because I've been using a cannon to kill a fly and using DaVinci Resolve to create a higher res version of a forum avatar with effects. It's been a fun and frustrating experience. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve lets you do a lot of different things, but I would not call it the most user-friendly particular style or program. I used DaVinci Resolve for like some project once. I had to use it for some project. I can't remember which one it was. The exact idea of that project, but I remember whatever I was using that for was incredibly overkill and also not user-friendly. I did play a little Picross 3D Round 2 because of the Rivertown stream and Jeff Gerstmann Hall of Fame video. Hell yeah. I got my imported copy of the new Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust remaster, and that movie looks better than I've ever seen it. Nice, Lashbrook. God, I watched a V8... Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters when it came out because it had a limited run, but I wasn't in New York when it came out. So I watched a fan sub of it. There's so little dialogue in there, but I did watch a fan sub of it, but it was like a VHS transfer fan sub. So it was on VHS tape. And then eventually, I did watch that, a like DVD of it years later that was better quality. But I'm sure every version of that movie that I've ever seen it looks bad compared to like how it could look. So that sounds rad. Lashbrook, that does feel like something I would like to see a better version of. I should track down a better version of that at some point, because that does sound like a cool idea. That sounds pretty neat. Hell yeah. Love that for you. I need to go like this. Here. We'll get this leg on here before we wrap things up tonight. We'll at least get this on. So the plan for Saturday is to continue to build this model kit and to hang out with all of you as I do it. We'll talk about AEW Dynasty as we prep for that and get our pay-per-view on, which is a Sunday, so I am not skipping it. Which is great because I don't want to take streams off. I did miss last Thursday because of illness, which is the first time in forever that I took a stream off because I wasn't feeling well. Usually I take streams off because something is going on. It's often a Saturday because of wrestling or something like that. Or it's because, there was the last time I took a Thursday off before this was because my internet was down with an outage. And it came back like during the stream, or what I would have done the stream, but like hours in. So, it's a rarity that I miss a Thursday stream. Again, occasionally I miss a Saturday stream. I'm not missing this Saturday though. Don't get it twisted. I'm here this Saturday and it'll be fun. And then next Monday and then next Tuesday. And then I'm going to keep doing model kit building streams until I can't do model kit building streams anymore. Which, I don't know. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I allowed some doom and gloom into my life about this and all of this and all of this, but I'm still psyched about model kit building and hanging out with all of you, and the idea that I have another jigsaw puzzle coming is wild to think about. That'll be in the mail at some time in the next couple days, and that'll be the next thing I build, unless people also buy me other stuff off my wish list, in which case then I'll have to have a poll about what I build next. Because if I have multiple things from my wish list, I then usually do a poll for my $10 patrons. Tubi has an ad suggesting that I watch Sausage Party, and I'm guessing Tubi is evil now. Yeah, Lord Crashington, I think Tubi hates you. Tubi is not your friend, and it wants bad things for you. It would like you to watch bad things. It does not care about you. It is not your friend. I don't know if it's evil, but it's not a good friend. And that's important to know about your ad-supported streamers. April Fools, says Lashbrook. Yeah. Tubi's playing a joke on you. It's just a delayed joke. It's funnier that way if it's later. Lord Crashington thinks they're using Lord Crashington, Tubi is probably using an algorithm to recommend things because it's always done that. Now, if you're saying it's using AI to generate what ads you want to see, yeah, but it's probably not generative AI. It's the algorithm they've been using forever because your watch history, they use your... Oh, next it'll suggest... Yeah, but no, I mean, Tubi is probably recommending things based on what you've watched and what it thinks you would watch with an algorithm that you could call AI, but also that's what all the streamers do when they recommend stuff. Now, if they're using AI to catalog their service, then that's going to be a nightmare, and that's going to make a bunch of mistakes. But if it's just using like their algorithm of like, well, you watched all of this and you watched this 3 times, so you'll probably like this thing. Like, yeah. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. I feel real good about where we are here. We got some legs done. We got the arms done. We're going to work on the waist, and then we're going to start working on the weapons and stuff. We got a lot more to build here. I don't think we're going to finish this up on Saturday, but I think we'll do pretty good on it. I want to thank you all so much for being here and watching me do this stuff. Let's go to this screen. Here we are in this screen. I look so frazzled. My apologies. Again, it's warm in here. Hopefully we'll get the air conditioning going in this house soon. But I want to thank you very much for joining me here tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a ball. I always love doing model kit building streams and hanging out, talking about new anime, talking about new consoles. It's been a minute since we had new console talk, and we got to talk about the Switch 2, and I'm sure there'll be more to talk about between now and June 5th when it comes out. Who the fuck knows? Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. We are going to go on a raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool stuff, and we're going to go hang out with them and join in on the fun. Who's doing stuff? Let's see. Well, we're going to go hang out with Arthur Geese. Arthur Geese is playing the game that just came out here, Song of Midnight. Arthur's playing Song of Midnight, so we're going to go see Arthur play that. Also, Arthur has had some Switch 2 time and has maybe already talked about the Switch 2 because he's been streaming for an hour and a half, so he probably isn't going to talk more about the Switch 2, but maybe he will. But he is playing a game that looks neat, and I would like to see more about it. I read some reviews today that looked really engaging. And it made it sound very neat. And I did read reviews from people of African descent, because that felt important. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you come, or the stream, I hope you come along on this raid. I hope you come back on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern for more model kit building. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.